And here we are again. The critics claim that Hollywood production is in the midst of a recession. Well, they obviously haven't told our first guest. He is starring in 3 features at the moment: The Entity, Lovesick, and Best Friends. He is Ron Silver, and he speaks Chinese, I think. I hope. If he doesn't, we're in trouble. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little.
How do you say?
Actually, I used to speak a lot more, but that was about 10 years ago. I stopped speaking Chinese. I made a decision.
Did you know how many words were in your Chinese vocabulary?
No, I spoke fairly well then. I had studied Chinese history in graduate school, and I lived in Taiwan for a couple of years, and I lived in other parts of Asia for a while. So the Chinese then was pretty good. Now it's a residual amount. I can impress people in restaurants or...
Can you order chicken salad
I would not do that.
No?
No.
What would you order in a Chinese restaurant?
Chinese food. I'd never heard of chicken salad until I came to Hollywood. My grandmother used to make chicken salad for me. I never heard of Chinese chicken salad.
A lovely Chinese
That was a very
lady.
interesting segment, by the way.
Oh,
that
thank
Chinese,
you.
Yeah, it was very special.
Oh, that's very
I think you
quick.
should be very proud of that.
Thank you. It's one of the highlights of my life.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. How do you get to be in 3 movies at one time? I mean, that's an incredible amount of work when a lot of actors and actresses out here aren't doing anything.
You have to, you know, sleep with the right people and just be kind of lucky, I guess. Actually, The Entity was done 2 years ago, and for various financial reasons, it was held for about 1.5 years. The other pictures were done about 1 year ago. It seems like there's a lot of activity now because there are 3 pictures currently in release, but they've been done over a period of 2 years.
When 3 pictures come out at the same time with you in it, do you worry about overexposure?
No, not at all. Never. That's ridiculous.
Really?
No, that's foolish.
I mean,
no such thing as overexposure. Not in movies.
No.
Not in movies. And the parts are kind of different. They really are. So I'm not concerned about it at all. Why, are you concerned? Do you
well,
think
I don't have overexposure. I'm not concerned about it at all.
No, but are you concerned for me? I mean,
I was worried about your future.
Well, I'm getting concerned now too. Do you think it may be too much?
The role you have in Lovesick,
yeah,
which is Dudley Moore's in love with the girl that you're in love with.
He's sick about being in love with her, actually.
Yeah. He plays a psychiatrist?
Yes.
And you are?
I'm an actor who, a New York method type of actor, who has gone out to Hollywood, made a couple of big films, become a big star, and then comes back to New York to get back to his roots, which means working for free, off-Broadway, Joe Papp, doing something artistic.
The movie's doing well, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with grosses and things like that. You know, I finished it 7, 8 months ago, so I really don't know. I think it's doing okay, yeah.
Do you go see it in the theater? Sneak in?
I have to
people?
because nobody invites me to screenings and all. That's the only way I get in to see these things, actually.
Do you ever listen to the audience to see how they react to you?
No, not really. I'll tell you, when I go see it, and if it's the first time I've seen it, I can't concentrate on anything but myself. I'm looking at my eyes, I'm looking at my nose, and then after I'm off the screen, I'm still in a coma because I didn't like certain things. So I have to see a film a couple of times before I can actually see the film because I'm so intensely interested in what I did wrong or could have done better or what they left in the film or what they didn't leave in the film.
We had heard
I could probably keep going on about that, but I don't think I have to. I made the point.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you. One of our folks said that in Best Friends, you saved the picture.
I was going to say that's not true, but I didn't want that to be misinterpreted. Well, I'm flattered. That's a nice thing to say.
Mm-hmm. You play an abrasive kind of guy in Best Friends. Is that how you would describe the character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
Do you play him in different movies? In Lovesick? Would that be the same kind of...
Yeah, you know, they mentioned that the other day. I was talking to somebody about abrasive, and it's a funny thing. I do seem to play certain characters with edges to them that could be unlikable. I hope in the final analysis they're not really unlikable. They are abrasive, and maybe I'm making too fine a distinction about it, but the character in Best Friends was an obnoxious sort of guy, but there was a desperation about him that I think people would kind of find harmless or likable in the end. The abrasiveness comes from... comedically, when you're doing something, you have to exaggerate things at certain times to make a point, especially if you're in a supporting role where you want to... it's almost cartoonish, the character. And I'm not explaining this well, but I think the best way I can explain it is to say that the abrasiveness comes in trying to point a certain thing about a character and not being afraid to do something that may, in the end, seem unlikable.
Now, you do the comedy, the Lovesick is a comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you do serious things, too.
Yeah.
I guess
my life is not funny. My life is very serious.
Well, you take your profession very seriously.
Yeah, I do, but I have some perspective on it. Yeah.
You don't consider yourself a comic actor?
No, no, no. I think I'm an actor that can do comedy, and I like to do comedy. I think it's much more difficult. I get more frustrated doing comedy than I do straight stuff, because straight stuff, there's less obstacles you come across that can really wind up humiliating, or you can do a better job doing straight material. Even if it's a little tedious or dull sometimes, it's less easy to embarrass yourself, because in comedy you have to go for something. You have
Hardest thing
to,
in the world
it's
is
very tough.
Making somebody laugh. That's the toughest thing. You also have done television, Hill Street Blues, which is a very fine show. Well, what did you played
I played a lawyer on Hill Street Blues. I did a couple episodes, which was a very nice experience. It was one of the nicest times I've had doing TV, and I've done my fair amount of TV, you know, different series and things like that. I generally don't have too good a time there, because there are too many people making too many decisions about what you have to do, and you have to meet too many standards that have nothing to do with acting. TV people, network people are pretty much concerned that you are benign, or you're relatively harmless. When they complain about ethnic, they're talking about a certain type of hostility that they associate with ethnic or urban characters, things like that. So it's...
They kind of rush you around a lot, too, don't they?
It's the time is that you're trying to tell a story in either 21 minutes or 47 minutes. You have to meet so many different people's ideas of what it should be about that it's by committee, and you're talking about 10, 15 different opinions. So it's very difficult, unless the producers and the writers have some leverage with the network. Guys like at MTM or the Hill Street Blues people, they're MTM, I think. They have some power, and the people respect the creative people they've hired, so they give them more leeway than a lot of other people will get when they're doing TV.
Would you like, if they called you, if Hill Street Blues called you and said, we want to make your character a regular on the show, would you like to do that? Weekly?
Perhaps. I respect the show. I like the people on the show. Yeah, but I really don't know at this point, because week in and week out on TV is a very difficult thing to do.
We're going to take a break, come back with more of Ron Silver. We hope you'll stay with us.